I just wanted to make a video, lads, on that clown, James Doyle. Protein bore is what he calls himself. Now, what I'd like to call him is protein boring. Because, to be honest, what he went on with in his last video, right, he was seen up in Dublin outside the Doyle, calling for hate speech laws to be brought into the country. Oh, you can't be saying this. Oh, I don't like that. Don't be criticising the fact that the country is being invaded by a huge number of people that is going to absolutely whitewash our country. Our country is going to absolutely be no more if this people like him, these absolute clowns, get to keep on speaking and get this huge following of other people who obviously don't have a cell between them to be able to, understand that people like him are totally not for Ireland. These people are anti-Irish, and there's a lot of anti-Irish people in the country who have no care for what's going on. They don't care what's happening to the country. They don't care. They don't care about the Irish people that are homeless on the streets. They don't care about what Irish like myself have to put up with on a day-to-day basis, where it's a struggle even to keep a place to live or apartment complex. You know what I mean? It's hard to get on social housing. It's hard to get social house. It's an absolute nightmare trying to get through all the different services in this country. If you're Irish, of course, if you're an Irish Catholic and a person who actually has ancestors going back millennia in this country, a person who's been born and bred from the land of this country, we're looked down on like we don't matter anymore. But what would the people, our forefathers who fought for this country, think of that? Would they be happy to lie down and think that we're not doing anything? They're absolutely turning at this moment because there is not enough Irish people alert to the fact that Ireland is being destroyed from the inside out. It's an ultimate takeover. There's no other word for it. It's an Irish replacement. It's a replacement to the indigenous Irish because, of course, of the plan that is being set out by the EU and the European Union to destroy our culture and destroy Europeanism and to basically make us all one obedient race that will do exactly as we're told and not question things like I am at this moment in this video. Just not say anything. Make sure that the status quo is the status quo and nothing can ever be looked at in an absolute common sense way, an open-minded way. It's okay having people in this country that are willing to love this country and nation and love the culture and love the fact that they have an opportunity to be here. But what I don't like about it is all the people that come to this country, most of them, right, come from these outside countries, they think nothing of taking from the natives who gave them a place here in the first place. They think absolutely nothing of it. And people like James Doyle, Protein Boar, who tells people, Irish people, that they cannot question the hatred that is going on to us indigenous Irish. The hatred that we are getting put at us. We cannot protest in peace. We have services looking at us. We have all the forces in Ireland, the heavies, basically like the SWAT, after us, out to get us. The minute we're not happy with something. The minute we're not happy with our villages and towns and cities being changed from the inside out rapidly and quickly. Look at Lisdow and Varna in Clare. Once a 95% Irish minority village. Have a guess what it is now? Since the absolute travesty of mass immigration was left loose on the Irish Republic. 35% Irish is what it is now. While the rest of the percentage is literally Foreign nationals. Foreign nationals is all that's the majority there now. And there was once a 95% Irish town up until 2019. Or actually, 2017 is what it was. 2017. And then ever since then, a big change happened, which made it absolutely just not Irish anymore. And Lisdoonvarna was one of those places that was known very much for being a cultural Irish village that was very popular with American tourists, but now they don't want to come anymore. Tourism, as you've seen, is down 35% in Ireland now. And there's no surprises there. I mean, sure, who wants to go and look at a place and look, who wants to go to like Slum World and look at all these slum type people milling about the place? If you go up to Dublin, you see it yourself. You go into the shopping centres, the Ileach, the Jarvis shopping centre, places like that. And sure, it's like spot the Irishman up there. I mean, most of the shops as well are not even run by Irish anymore. They're all run by foreign nationals. Sure, they're all money laundering businesses. Especially the barbers. Places like that, restaurants too, they use restaurants to their advantage. They don't follow the food safety protocols because, of course, when it comes to food safety, sure, the health inspector turns a blind eye. Of course he does, sure. Because he doesn't want to be called the R word, do you know? The R word. A lot of Irish people's main fear, they don't have a fear of being taken over or their children having no future. They just have a fear of just the R word, you know what I mean? And just any word, of course. The rampant word that they use in the media, the far right. Oh, the far right problem, the far right. Well, to be honest, yeah, we are right. And anyone who supports and loves their country and wants to fight for the nation, make sure the nation does actually have an identity going forward, should be proud to be labelled with these labels, because it's a badge of honour. I mean, sure, what else can you do? It's our country. Our country is meant to be fought for. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, what? You're going to be like those wimps, fight for Palestine, is it? They can't even point Palestine out on a map, let alone fight for it. And they wouldn't fight for it, because most of them, when they're asked in the streets, would they fight for Palestine? They say, oh, I'll think about it, but I'll wave me flag over in my own country for Palestine. See, they have such an ignorance towards that flag behind me. They have such an ignorance towards that flag. The Irish tricolour. They hate it. Do you know why? Because most of them people who have this hatred for their own flag are the same people that would have been happy to be taken over in the past. They probably have ancestors that took the soup. That's all I'm saying exactly. They probably do have ancestors that took the soup. And it's in them. And most of these people as well that have land in this country, sure, they're the ones that sold out, you know, in millennia. If you go into your history of Irish history, you will understand that a lot of the people who have the land now, well, actually all of them, let's be real, all of them that have the land now in this country are the ones that actually submitted and complied and didn't rebel for that flag. So they're the same types of people now that go around waving the Ukraine flag and the Palestine flag. Because it suits them, you know. Because they always didn't want that flag, you know. It's in their blood, it's in their DNA. They never wanted it. They were always leeches. Absolute rats, vermin. Always going in under the cracks. Because of course that suited them. They didn't want to be going out and speaking out. Because they were cowards. The same way I speak out on this channel, I don't care what people think. I don't give a damn. You can say your nonsense, you know. You can criticise it. You can say, oh sure, what difference does it make to you? It makes a huge difference to me. It makes a huge difference to my country. It makes a huge difference to anyone who actually cares about the country. It's very sad to think that only in the early 2000s, when I was growing up and into the 2010s, that Ireland was recognisable. But now when you go around Ireland, it's not recognisable anymore. And, you know, I don't understand when there's these idiots in their 20s, like Protein Boer, with its fake ass accent, right? Saying that hate speech laws are pivotal for the future of this country and that we need them. Because if you criticise immigration, lads, and if you don't agree with immigration, Well, you're a racist. You're a hatred, and you're an Egypt. Cop on, he says, right, in his fake accent, overly countryside accent. There's no country in that fella. There's not a country bit of him in his bone, because his country ancestors would be absolutely ashamed of him, because it's a country thing to be able to say what you want to say. You know what I mean? If you come from the countryside too, you should know that, especially in Ireland. If you go into a country up in Ireland, they say what they want to say. Is he going to go into them and start lecturing them about hate speech? He'd be soon kicked out the door. You know, he wouldn't really get too far if he talks to real people about that nonsense. Because if he supports these snobs that are in government that support that, like Helen McEntee and Roddy O'Gorman, and who's another fella there? Richard Boyd Barrett of the People Before Profit Party. He supports people like these because, do you know why? He's an absolute mollycoddled, little cotton wool wrapped wimp, carrot head, a person who really doesn't understand what's coming. Or he's just getting paid off to say what he's saying. But at the same time, spoiled mollycoddle and never went threatening hard in his life. And that's the thing as well. There's not enough people with backbone in this country. There's not enough people who actually did go through hard times. You know, young people. That's why they're all happy with this absolute travesty what's going on at the moment. Lately now you'll see more and more attacks in the paper, and you'll see more and more travesties going on. And they always avoid the big elephant in the room. They never have anything to say about it. Well, it's about time in this country that those people need to be woken up. And the only way to do it is rapid communication and telling them that they're absolute traitors, because they are absolute traitors. And their ancestors would be ashamed of them. And none of their ancestors would want to say, you're Irish, because to me, they're not Irish anymore. They're nothing. They lost their sovereignty. They're a European citizen. The ultimate agenda to make us all European citizens, lads. That's literally all it is. I mean, look at the government. They brandish that European Union flag before our own tricolour. They brandish that flag before our own tricolour. That says it all. You just need to have the eyes to see what's going on. And then, sure, you wouldn't be surprised to see everything else that happens then after that. You know, the ripple effect. Because that's a real thing. Patterns, ripple effects happen in this country. You just need to keep an eye out. And look, the majority of people, they're just, fake. You know, the people who pretend that they love the country when they come here. It's fake. I'm sorry to tell you. Most of it is fake. We need to take back Ireland for the Irish people. And for the Irish people, number one. The Irish people must be prioritised in our own country. Enough is enough, like. It's better off enough people start waking up like myself. Well, I've always been awake to this. You know, I've seen it coming. I've seen it for a long, long time. The floodgates were opened when politicians started saying, you know, Céad Míle Fáilte, 1,000 welcomes. Sure, 1,000 welcomes, yeah, to come in and actually just rob the country. Make sure there's nothing left for the Irish people, just crumbs. Yeah, of course. Sure, they're all up for doing that. They're all up for take. They don't care, sure. These people don't care. And if they had to go back, and if their own countries were so great, they bring their own culture over here. But if their own countries were so great, you know, why'd they leave them? Exactly. Because they left them because they knew there was freebies and milk and honey over here. Well, they can go back to their own countries, and that's the only way. If they don't respect the culture and they don't respect the religion and Christianity in Ireland, they can go back to their own countries. And people like James Protein Doyle Boer, he can join them. He can join them on the dinghies, because that's what's needed, lads. That's what's needed. We need to get rid of the traitors within, and our country will prosper. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to fight. We need to love being Irish. We need to love our history. And we need to read up on our history if we don't know enough about it. Chucky Law, This has been the Irish Citizens Movement. Subscribe below. Thank you.